Welcome back to the KickNPost YouTube channel, and welcome back to our new series, UFC Must See Fights. On the first two episodes, we dived into Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski. That was the last one. You can check that card up in the left or right, one of these sides. And the episode before that, we hopped into John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. Also, card on the right or left. Today, we'll hop into Izzy Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier. They will be fighting on the same card as Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, UFC 276 on July 2nd. This is Izzy's middleweight title defense against Jared Cannonier, who's fought in 3 different weight classes, has knockouts in 3 different weight classes, and this one is sure to be a fun one. Thank you guys for all your support. Please like, subscribe, and share the video, and see you on the next one. Welcome back to episode 3 of Must See UFC Fights on the KickNPost YouTube channel. It's your host, Amal Thompson and Otto DeVries. And my favorite fighter in the UFC, Izzy Adesanya, is trying to defend his belt against up-and-comer, multiple division fighter, Cannonier. Will he be able to retain it? In my opinion, he will. How you doing, Otto?
I'm doing pretty swell. Man, I'm rocking with your boy this time.
Let's go.
So are Vegas odds at minus 360,
which is wild. I'm a betting man, but that is wild.
I don't like the price, but
no.
I would not be sprinkling my money on a plus 280 Jared Cannonier. He can land one punch and put the lights out, but is he so quick? His style. It just leads me to believe that he's gonna outpoint him, and he's shown when someone's been aggressive towards him, he'll put the lights out too. Even though that boy's super skinny.
There's a level of inactivity I'm a little bit worried with a guy like Izzy. His skill is really based on precision and accuracy, and I feel like ring rust will do him in. So I'm a little bit worried about how long he's been out of the ring. But what I will say are there are few strikers in the UFC with his type of timing. And if he's able to find that timing early, it's going to be a long night or a really short one for Jared Cannonier, who I do give a lot of respect to. Multiple division fighter. I think one of 2 or 3 fighters to have a knockout in 3 different weight classes. Fought all the way at heavyweight, came all the way down to middleweight. Came down the right way too. Very lean, very muscular type fighter. But like you said, we've seen heavy punchers with less risk-taking ability get in the ring with Israel and get embarrassed. I would say Robert Whittaker is a formidable foe. I know you would agree he's one of your favorite middleweights.
Yeah, man, my guy got robbed.
He got rinsed, the first one.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
Robbed the second one.
Yeah, the second, I don't know about robbed, but it's hard to take the belt from the champ. We watch Paulo Costa, big, strong guy, get in there, rinsed. We've seen Derek Brunson get in there with him, haven't we? Pretty sure.
Yep.
Early on.
No.
Yeah, early.
That
Like
was
when,
before he was
on
champ.
the come up and got pieced up. Again, that's a wrestler, a little bit stronger, was going to try to get him on the ground. We've seen Izzy withstand a lot. We've seen some of the more boring fights as well. Yoel Romero, heavy puncher. Nothing happened. He kept his belt, right? I just believe that on the back foot, there's not many fighters as talented as Izzy. And nobody's going to force him to press. It's not like back in the day when he was chasing the belt, where he had to kind of push the envelope a little bit more, maybe step out of his comfort zone. We're in a situation now where you have to come to him. If you want this belt, you have to come to him. And if you have to come to him, again, on the counter, there's few guys like him. Precision crazy, accuracy crazy, and sneaky power as well. You said he's a little lanky type of fighter, real skinny, but there's some pop in those punches.
Yeah. I mean, he walks around at, I think, like a little bit more than 200. We saw that when he fought Jan. When he just weighed in regular, he didn't cut anything. He was just
Huge
eating
mistake.
pizza, hanging out.
Huge mistake.
So that's his walk around weight. And that might even be a little heavier. He might have been eating a little bit more anyway, just for that fight. But yeah, like you said, his precision off the back foot, his head movement's always crisp. He disguises his kicks super well. Man,
Creative too.
I just don't
Creative with the kicks.
I don't see a way Cannonier wins this fight. And obviously, it's an MMA fight. You blink and you're losing. But I was rewatching Cannonier's fight with Whitaker, and yeah, he had his moments in the third round. Crazy that was only a 3-round fight, but Cannonier was getting worked the first two, and Whitaker is, obviously he's not the champ. Adesanya is the champ for a reason, according to judges. But I don't see Cannonier posting the same threat to Izzy as he was able to on Whitaker. The defense is too good.
We're seeing a fighter, in my opinion, that is at the peak of his powers. Outside of that yawn blemish on his record, which we both agreed going up to that weight, and him going up the way he did, he was taking a risk. And it took about, 3.5 rounds for Jan to figure out, wait, I could just lay on this guy. Like, I could just get on top of him and lay on this guy. And the speed wasn't matching, the power wasn't matching. Jan was surviving his counteracting punches. Even though he's a champ, he's coming for Jan's belt, so Jan doesn't have to extend himself to keep his belt. It was just not the right matchup for Izzy. Ended up with a blemish on the record and him getting laid on top of, especially those last 2 rounds, to get a decision win for Jan. Smart move. I think Cannonier could take a lot from that fight. Cannonier is a strong guy. If he's able to put on weight quickly, he could definitely swell up faster than an Izzy. And even though he's a risk taker, follow the wrestling book. That's your best bet. Izzy's not a horrible ground game fighter, but he's uncomfortable on the ground if the weight difference is great enough. So maybe going there a little bit heavier. Maybe, again, get things murky. Even if it has to be ugly wrestling, kind of like Ngannou did against Gane. Something. Because if you're going to
ugly wrestling.
Yeah, if you stay on the feet with Izzy, this is not going to end well. Right? Unless you get off one of these shots that he gets a little bit cocky trying to dodge or something, or he gets a little bit comfortable in the pocket and you're able to land, maybe. But even then, I'm not going to bet my money on that happening rather than you putting in the effort ground game wise, working the time, working the takedowns, and then probably pulling out the win that way. That's your best bet if I'm Cannonier's coach.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to bring it to the ground. There's too far of a skill gap in the stand-up game between Izzy and anybody.
Exactly. Say it one more time.
I'm not going to. But the skill gap is very, very clear and obvious. I know the one person that you had high hopes for was Kevin Holland. Obviously not in the division anymore. Just a pure stand-up guy. Obviously not there.
He had a lot of work to do as well, but he was exciting, if he could develop. But you're talking Izzy, who hundreds of MMA fights. Like, even though he's been in the I was about to say the NFL, Lord, he a receiver.
Kickboxing.
Well, yeah, but I mean a mix of kickboxing, boxing, and MMA. He's been in like all 3 practices for I'm pretty sure over 500 fights, right? Before he stepped into the UFC.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure before he stepped into the UFC, he has over 500 fights in all those 3 disciplines. So even though his reign in the UFC hasn't been that long, it's kind of like Jiri Prochazka. I know I pronounced it that wrong. Where it looks like he's kind of new to the game, but he had a ton of fights outside of the UFC as well. He's been honing his craft for years. So to be on that kind of striking level with a guy like that who's been sharpening those tools for so many years, you're asking for a lot. So, yes, huge skill gap. Got to lean on what you know. You're going to have to lean on your athletic ability and your, what you have as your gifts in terms of your body build in comparison to somebody who's just been sharpening those tools. Don't get into a striking match with probably one of the best strikers since our boy Anderson Silva.
All right, so final call. Izzy by knockout.
Yeah, I'm going Izzy round 3. I guess technically TKO or KO. It might be. I don't think he's going to put him to sleep, but I think he's going to knock him down enough time. It's going to get murky. He's going to be working him probably. He's going to be wobbly, and then the ref's just going to call it off. But I don't think he's going to put him out cold. It might look a lot like that Derek Brunson fight where he's just kind of piecing him and there's no defense for what Izzy's doing, and the ref's just like, all right, let's call it.
Yeah, it's curtains.
Yep. Again,
anyway,
UFC 272, crazy exciting card. I mean 276. My bad. On July 2nd.
On July 2nd.
Yeah. Crazy card. Crazy card, loaded card. Again, might be some prize picks in there. Come check that out. We might drop a little video about that later on, closer to the fight week. But yeah, I'm excited for UFC 276. It's going to be a lit one.
Yeah. Honorable mentions for honorable fighters that won't make it on the must see. Sean Strickland gonna put in some work.
Facts.
You know my boy Sean O'Malley, same deal.
We have to be honest, we probably will have a video about his ascension and where we feel like his career could go alone, because he's a very exciting prospect as well. Dealt with an interesting fight against Cheeto Vera in the upswing of his career, but I feel like it's about to get real crazy in that division for him as well. Thank you guys again for tuning in to the UFC Must See Fight Series, Episode 3. See y'all on the next one. All right, y'all boys.